Okay, I'm going to do a video and show the railroad speeder, and just to see how this camera is working, we'll shoot a little bit as I walk up the hill here to the speeder. This is my tomato plant over here and my basil, which I'm going to probably chop down today and make some pesto and let it grow back. And there's some geranium, red geraniums, and my poor lemon tree here. I think this is a Eureka lemon, and it's barely holding on in our environment up here, but the strawberries do well, and have been giving me a few berries every day. I put them in the cereal. And that's actually a Bear's lime tree. It's got a couple limes on it. It seems to do pretty well up here. Okay, let's walk up to the railroad speeder. My cactus that I picked up on our trip down to Palm Springs last November. Oh, here are my other stuff that I've been growing. I haven't really been keeping up after it. Some of this is asparagus in the front, and there were some Brussels sprouts that I managed to almost kill off. And then tomatoes I planted from seed. I wasn't going to do any this year, but since we're stuck home, I figured, well, I might as well grow tomatoes. So this is growing in a tub. And this is the old tractor, which I call the $100 tractor because it was $100. And the guy who sold it to me had taken the rear wheel off and didn't put the locking key back in, and it didn't drive anymore. And I didn't realize that when I bought it. I wasn't going to buy it because I thought it had a transmission problem. But I got it anyway, and I figured out that the axle was spinning but the wheels weren't turning, so it just needed the drive pin on the key and the axle. This is the speeder trailer which I borrowed from Tom on our he's the president of our railroad up here, and this is a real nice trailer for the speeder. The rails are spaced for standard gauge 4 feet 8.5 inches, and you just pull that back set of rails out and unlock it, pull it out, and then you can pull the speeder up on it with the electric winch, and it's got a backup manual winch. And this is my little white trash. I call it the pig shed. It was an animal shed originally, and I have been I put corrugated metal on the outside to make it look a little more rustic instead of trashy, but it's generally a white trash shed. So, and this is the speeder. This is a Fairmont M19A that's been basically rebuilt from the frame up. It's got a new frame, new engine, new wheels, axles. I mean, the only thing that's original is the name and the builder's plate, I think. This came from a fellow who passed away in Hesperia. He was building it, was doing a really nice job on it, and then ended up getting sick. And I bought it from the estate. I thought I could finish it up and get him to do this, do some justice to put it together. Yeah, so this is a Honda 20 horsepower engine. It's about 37 cubic inches. I'm going to turn down this classical music here that I have playing on the radio, just so we don't have all that in the background. You can see the junk in my shed here. So the engine is mated up to a transmission, which has forward and reverse and then high and low gears. And then this here is a basically it's a trailer jack but it's mounted in such a way that it acts as a turntable. And what you can do is that this plate here will screw on to the underneath, and when you get to the end of your run and you need to turn the car around, the old-fashioned way used these handles, and you brute forced it by picking it up and turning the car around. But now with the electric turntable, the car will raise off the ground and balance in the middle, and then you just have to carefully spin it around and then put the car back down on with the turntable. And so behind that is where the battery will mount, and there's the control panel there, and 2 bucket seats. The glass is out of it right now. It was all, like I said, it was being rebuilt and never got finished, so some assembly is required. All the brake gear is new. The wheels are new. And what I got to do is I got to wire all the electrical stuff, and it's going to have headlights and a tail light. You got to have a stop light for regulations. I'm going to use this panel here. I bought some lit automotive type switches. I'm going to use it for controlling the warning lights and other auxiliary lights on the rig that'll eventually come on. And you can see the Fairmont original type Fairmont panel, and that's the 6-gallon gas tank, 6 or 8 I think, and then I still got to hook that up to the fuel filler. And then here's the rear of the car. It needs a stoplight mounted on it. And what Tom has done that I like is on the rails here, the pickup rails, he mounted a toolbox so that as you go along, if you need tools or flags or whatever you want to carry, you can put in that box, and it sits on those rails, and then you can unpin them and take it off and use the rails if you had to. But with the turntable, it should be a rare occurrence. And so here's the other side of it here. The roof has a little bit of damage that I got to repair. Something or someone fell on it, and it ended up denting the roof a little bit and bending a couple of the brackets here, or they're beams. But it unbolts, and it needs a gasket any rate located between the car body and the hood and the roof. And I guess they call these the pizza tin roofs. So I'm going to take this off, and the plan is to bend out the dents, bang them out, and then do the repairs on it, and then put it back on. A new one is available for $500, but I think I will be able to hide the repair work with some beacon lights. This has got to be TIG welded back, but when I get that welded and repainted, I'll put the lights on it, and I think it should be just fine. So this is tractor number 2. I got this because I thought the other one was going to give up the ghost, and at any rate, so Lowe's started selling John Deere's, and they always get a bunch of returns. And I looked at it one day, and they had a return tractor there. It actually wasn't return, it was something they damaged. They drove the front into something and cracked the front little grill, and they had it marked down from whatever it was, almost $2,000 to $1,000. So I figured I'd already spent hundreds of dollars on tires and things on the other one. I better get something that's newer. So that's why I have 2 tractors. And I'm a Gemini, you gotta have 2 of everything, so what the hell. Just looking over, you could see the view out of the backyard, and my sunshade flapping in the wind there, which gives me a little shade from the west side sun on that big window. And you could see the solar panels, and down here is a 40-foot plus crank-up tower that I took down a couple years ago from a ham for his YL. And this TV antenna, the Channel Master, I think it's Channel Master, the VHF, UHF came off of that job, and I kind of fixed it up, and I used it for a while for test. But we don't have VHF low band here, and this is a high-low, and so I thought I would try the Winegard VHF high and UHF antenna. And this is what I used to pick up San Jose and my local TV here. I'll go show you something else here. In the front, I'm on a very busy road here, and this originally must have been some sort of like a water tank. I use it as an old boot hanger, so it's the boot tower. And so I planted oleanders, pink oleanders, along the road here to eventually give myself a little bit of visual block. And I've been, I put them in this season, so I'm trying to keep everything alive until it gets established. So I've been moving the watering hoses up and down the line every day. And the race is on. We got some moles. I'm trying to catch another mole here, or kill it actually. I don't want to catch it, I just want it to die. Okay, well that moves the watering system. I don't think the male's been here yet, but I will check it since I'm over here. This is my pile of rocks. They grow rocks up here like weeds. And so that's my stone wall fence. Nope, no male yet. And this is the Tahoe. I just put it back together. The windshield wiper tank was leaking. Put a new tank in it, and it still leaks. So it must be the pump motor, or one of the pump motors in it. So when I get the energy and impetus to take it back apart and see what the heck's going on, I will do that. I have ordered a new tank to replace the tank in there, and thinking that it must have gotten cracked. But they have a clever GM design that uses water pumps that plug into these two holes in the bottom here. One for the windshield, one for the rear window. And the pump itself actually is supposed to stop the water from coming out of there, but it's leaking out, so the pump itself must be cracked or somehow damaged. Probably making about 6 or 7 kilowatts around now, about peak time. And my new neighbors who just moved into this house over here, they are the son-in-law and daughter of the people that live on the other side of me. And they, so grandma and grandpa live over there. So at least I got the neighbors back, and it's no longer a vacant house. And I'm glad a family moved in. Let's look at some of these California poppies that I got grown here. Those are strawberries and poppies, and strawberries, and poppies, and that's the lime tree. Okay, let's see how this comes out.